Alright, let's take a look at assignment 2 and see if there's any tips I can give you. I mean, I hope there is, otherwise why am I making a video? This is the choose your own adventure assignment where you can kind of create a little story where people have to go north, south, east, or west. Now the first tip I can tell you on this one is you don't have to go crazy in trying to create the most elaborate story in the world. We are going to do that as an assignment. That's going to be a badge that you can get, that you can work on. When you're done with this one, you'll be almost ready to do that. But there's a few things I want to show you that will make that assignment better later. So for now, you just have to make a fairly basic story. So let's just say you take, maybe you do some cool print statements about what's going on. Print cool stuff. And then you say, okay, now I'm ready to get some action. And you say, where do you go? And you're going to allow them to go north, south, east, or west. The big problem with asking the user what direction they want to go is that then you have to think to yourself, what did they just type? So, I'm hoping that they typed north. But if you give this program to somebody and you give them the game, they're probably going to sit down and they're going to think of something you didn't think of. One thing that could happen is that they might have typed north instead, right, with a capital. There's actually, if you go and if right now, stop this one and go over and do the strings badge, if you haven't done that one yet, you could find some tips on how to handle that, because there's some easier things you could do than try to think of every possible capitalization somebody did. By the way, I did this wrong on purpose. I should have told you that before I went off on a tangent. If you are going to do that, just make sure whenever you do your OR that you keep the full action equals on both sides of the OR so that you don't cause an error. Okay, so let's just pretend we don't care about capitals. What else might they have typed instead of just north? Well, maybe they said go north. Maybe they said head north. Like, you almost need to put this in front of somebody and let them type and see what they do, and then say, oh, okay, I'll allow you to type that one. I always like to put this one in N, because when I play it, I don't feel like typing and I just want to type in the letter N. So that's almost like, for me as the coder, I know how to do it really quick, right? It's almost like my own coding shortcut for it. You can see that you can go on and on and on. If it's this, or it's this, or it's this, or it's this. So I put 4 different options in here. You could do even more than that if you wanted to. And then eventually, you're going to do, what happens when they do that. And then you're going to come down and you're going to do what happens if they go east, and all the different ways they could type that, and west and south. Eventually you're going to get down to what if they type something that I'm not thinking about? So I gave them 4 options for north, but they typed in, I don't know, what did they type in instead of north? They typed in move north, and I didn't think about move north. So at some point you're going to want to have an else statement at the end, right? Make sure you do all your other ones here first, like elif, stuff about east, and that kind of thing. But eventually you have to be like, I don't understand. Because you can't possibly think of everything that they can type in. Maybe you can even give them a hint. Just use the directions so that they can try again. Now, we don't have yet the ability to loop this, but you can imagine putting this in a loop. They could try over and over again, then they'd be able to finally get it right. So that's something that would be fun to do, is throw this in a loop if you wanted to. It's not hard to do, and I could even show you in person if you wanted to know how to do it, but it's not required for this assignment. Have fun with this one, just don't go too crazy. That'll come in the future.